You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
But I don't blame them, I blame you! You have to do better!
What is up, guys? We have a wild Tuesday night show for you. I'm here with the faster pastor, Matt Hammer. How are you doing, brother?
What's up, Chris? Always fun to be here talking moto. It feels good. I just got off a 38-hour shift at work, so I was like shot. Had to take a little rest, but we're here for the show and excited to chat.
38-hour shift, but as a fireman, you at least get to sleep sometimes, though. Or do you get good sleep, or do you have to sleep like 2 hours and then go?
It's all fragmented. You get calls all throughout the night for everything. So because we're also like I'm EMT, so we also go on all these medical runs. We go on gas runs. We go on this. We go on that. It's just like feels like a never-ending thing. You get called for all types of things, not just fires. So like for example, one lady left her stove on in the middle of the night, right, and it was leaking gas into her apartment in the basement. And then, of course, it goes off at like 4 a.m. and we're there for like an hour, ventilating the basement, bringing in positive pressure fans, all this stuff, bringing the gas meters, waiting for Con Ed to show up. So there's a lot of things on top of, medicals. But yeah, sleep. Let's put it this way. You really appreciate your sleep once you're home and you don't have any calls or anything. It's like, oh man, sleep's so nice. I'm really blessed.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the song, I love the song, man. How's it doing?
It's doing good. I'm really stoked. Thanks again for sharing it, all the support. Thank you for everyone for listening. The song's doing great. Actually, it's like one of the best performing songs so far. So it's nice to get a win and just see the streams rack up there. It's good because then once it gets a certain amount of streams, like all right, the algorithm just like carries it and it goes further and further. So again, really appreciate the support. Show everyone who's came over the channel, checked it out. It's means a lot.
And now about 3/4 of the way through, there's like a rapper. Who's that?
Yeah, that was the primary artist collaboration. I did a collaboration with this other artist called Spaceman Zach. So I reached out to him and we collabed in the song. So it's good to collab with people because then you could like tap into their audience, they can tap into your audience, and if you're in the same genre, it helps. You can do well that way. So it's kind of like if you collab with somebody else in the moto scene, and then you're going live with them or vice versa. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, speaking of collab, right now we're live on your motocross channel as well. That's Hammer Moto. If you guys, he's going to be doing a lot of breakdowns. We'll do one here in a little bit of Coonan's, which was gnarly. Wait till you see that. And if you can, head over to Hammer Moto and give him a subscription over there. Let's get this thing monetized for Matt and get him rolling.
I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks again, like for the support, and thank you for everyone watching. Yeah, the channel is gonna be about like just obviously motocross. I'm gonna do a lot of like breakdowns and techniques. So I really just want to like help riders get better, get faster, and just analyze these races and see what they're doing, breaking down passes, techniques, things that all the top guys are doing. So yeah, excited to start the channel.
Okay, and I know everybody's wondering what's going on with all the penalties. Chase Sexton. We got Dylan Ferrandis making fun of wood chip tracks. And we saw Jason Anderson riding again. There's lots of stuff to talk about. But let's start with Hayden Deegan. Now, I'm frustrated. This really pisses me off. Now, this kid brings so much to this sport.
Right.
Love him or hate him. It doesn't matter. He gets so many more eyes, so many more tickets. But they are continually targeting him. And if you don't think, and now don't get me wrong, that line, and then we can talk about that line to the inside. That was cheating.
We're going to talk about
Yeah, that was cheating, and it was. But I thought the penalty was excessive. And I think he knew it was cheating. And I think at this point, he doesn't care. He just wanted to get up there and beat them. But what I have a real major problem with is giving him the one position when he went off the track. And then you don't give one to Levi Kitchen, which I don't think either guy should get one. But when a guy goes off and peels out like Levi Kitchen did, he doesn't get a penalty and Deegan did. Like the inconsistency makes you just pull my hair out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I rewatched when Levi went off the track right there before that double, and he's immediately on the gas. You see the dust coming up behind him, and he doesn't even look over that double to see if anyone's landing. Like he could have easily collided into somebody right there. So that was really sketch, and the AMA should have penalized him as well for that, because they've been doing that in Supercross to anybody who goes off the track and gives it gas. Like they've been pretty consistent with that. So the fact that it was one-sided there with Deegan wasn't cool at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a reason why I think, and I'm trying to add it here into the screen. One of the reasons why they keep going after the Deegans is because they do have power. They do have, and Brian Deegan's talking about getting a congressional letter to, or here's what he said here.
Actually new to me. I didn't see this yet.
Yep. Yeah. So somebody sent me this. Brian Deegan was in Washington for the White House. He was backflipping in front of it. That was sick. By the way, thank you. Whoever it was on here, I forgot who it was. But you guys told me about it. I went and checked it out. I didn't realize they were doing that. I knew they were fighting at the White House, but I didn't know Dana had brought in Pastrana and Deegan.
Yeah. Carmichael, check this out. Which,
Brian Deegan says, now we need to submit a bill to the U.S. government to pay for a team to go to MX of Nations, race like other countries, get the promoter to break off some of that ticket sales to the top 10 finishers.
Yo, let's go.
You think that's why he's getting some feedback?
Let's go. That's great. That's so cool. I love that they're standing up against the AMA, and with their names being so big, it actually does damage. It's one thing when privateers do it, but you need the top guys doing it. We need the Lawrences doing it. We need Chase too. We need everybody in that top 10 who have these factory rides to say something, because that's the only way that the change is going to be implemented.
Okay, now let's go back to the one that we all saw, the turning,
the left-hand turn, that inside.
Yes. Now you've raced nationals, and it's in the rule book. I'm sure you've read the rule book, like most people haven't, but I have. And that marker, if it's there on the hot lap, even if someone hits it, you still can't go there because it's not the original track. Just because the markers moved, and I used to do this when I was a kid because we had tires sometimes like that would mark the track.
Right.
And if I had a chance, I'd go over and move one and make a new line when nobody was looking. And I'm sure there's like Deegan's kind of trying to use that, but at this level, you can't do that. You can't get away with it. It was cheating.
So I have a kind of a hot take on this, but I want to ask you one question prior to this. Do you know if Deegan knocked down those first track markers going into that up-hand left? Because there was a few right on that left-hand side before it was blind at the top.
I don't know. I heard people say that he did. I have a hard time believing that he was solely responsible for it. I don't know.
Okay.
But even if he did, does it matter?
Yeah, because if he did, then it's a little bit, in my mind, it's more blatant. If you're actually like, all right, like I see them there and I'm blatantly going inside them or running them over up the hill. But if those were already down prior to him and he's just going to the inside of them, I actually didn't see a problem with that. And here's why. This is a hot take, but I've raced nationals before. I've raced all these guys. I've been lapped by Jet. And one thing I could say is when I'm out there in the national track, like these markers go down in every section. There's typically one section of the track where all the riders will go really far inside, really far outside. And you will see that it's off the track and everybody's taking it. Multiple riders are taking it. And my problem is with this is Jet could have taken this if he wanted to as well. All these riders could have taken it. And typically when a lot of people take it, they haven't penalized all the riders, because when I was in the race, obviously as a privateer, they didn't penalize me, but I took it, one of these inside lines, and so did all the other guys. And then by the next moto, by Moto 2, when we go out there, there's a tough block. And then there's like a banner to where they can't, or they bring in the dozer and then they backblade it so you can't take that line anymore, which immediately you saw in the 250 moto when we saw the follow-up to that line. So this is a poor preparation of the track, Chris. And this is also just the penalty. This has been going on for years, Chris. This is nothing new. All riders ride the edge of the track. They run over the track markers. They go flying. It's the fact that they really hammered down on it this time. It makes me wonder, okay, like are they really trying to strike Deegan for something? Are they just being hard on him? And they're like, all right, we'll penalize, Prado and then Hunter because they took the line too. But this has been going on for a very long time. That's what bothers me, because I've seen it. I've raced it. I go around the track. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take that line. Because if you don't, you're losing a ton of time.
It is 1,000% targeting. Why? Because of stuff like this. They are deathly afraid of the Deegan's power. And the Deegans have already said, they've talked about what they do for the sport and that the riders need a piece of the ticket sales. And he's not even, and what I love when they go about this, they don't say, hey, he needs more money. He's like, listen, look at these privateers. These dudes are broke. Like guys like you, they're like, you guys need to make enough money to continue the sport. And the fact that there's that many people at the race and they're $100+ a ticket. And he's a big reason. Like, I think they're 100% targeting because he won't go along. And I've seen the way that Feld and MX Sports back channel to make sure nobody steps out of line. You know, you're not supposed to talk about rider pay. You're not supposed to. Now, nobody ever comes and tells you if you do this, you'll get into trouble. But whoever does, you see them parked in the back. They don't make the sign up list. You will get messed with. With Deegan, he's gotten to a point where he's so powerful. The only thing they have to do to him is focus on him, enforce the rules at a level that they haven't for everybody else. Like you said, everybody gets away with it. But once they did it to Deegan, it's too obvious to say, well, these other guys did it. We can't just penalize him. But if you look at going off the track, that's exactly what happened when he went off the track and they gave him a penalty, and they didn't for Levi Kitchen. And I honestly, looking at those two incidents, I thought Deegs did the right thing, because when he re-entered the track, he re-entered into a pretty high speed. Like, you got to go faster to get to merge into traffic. Whereas Levi Kitchen could have went slow, looked, and because he was entering into a turn. So
and the blind landing of a jump, like that double is actually pretty big.
Yeah, he slowed down to get back on. Like, he slowed down on the track. He was going faster off track than he did on the track, and you can't say that for Deegs.
No, but the part where Levi went on the track was a lot more dangerous than where Deegs went on. Like, Deegs went on right in that sweeper where there's a lot of lines he could have taken. Levi went right across the landing. If someone was up in the air, he could have got T-boned really bad. He didn't even look or check over his shoulder.
He didn't look because he knew he pinned it. Nobody would be there.
But like I said, you never know, though. You know, they were so close. You know, and the thing is, when the track is prepped like that, we're gonna get into the track shortly. I wasn't a fan of the track at all, and how it was prepped, and it was just like slot cars with how many ruts it was. It was actually ridiculous. There should be a rough track. It should get a lot of kickers and develop some ruts, but to the point where you can't pass, and clearly someone's faster than you, and it takes laps to get around someone. It's just like they got to make it better.
Yeah. Real quick before we move on to the track and Sexton, I just want to point out, so this sport has a history of anyone who speaks up, myself included, Lucas Myrtle, anyone who gains power and won't go along with the narratives that the Coombs, Racer X, if you don't go along, you are isolated. Let me just point out what happened to Lucas Myrtle, and they keep spinning him as this horrible person. I know of a fact that an agent stole from a rider. Nobody reported on it. They didn't report on it because the guy isn't a threat, and he does what they want him to do. Lucas Myrtle, had he not been destroyed, think about this. The Coonan brothers came over. He was about to sign Chase Sexton, Joe Shimoda, Seth Hamaker. He would have had the power to easily say, let's get a piece of this TV deal. That's what really happened, you know, and we can get into the particulars of the account and whatever. But the reason they immediately went public with it, they've never publicly destroyed anyone like that in our sport. It's because he's the first one that got merchandise into the pits at Supercross and made Feld a partner, but he forced them to bend on their policy, and they didn't like it. So they were kind of waiting to get him. But look at the guys that he has coming. They saw that too. They realized, okay, we can't let this guy go any further. And they were just laying in wait for anything to explode him.
Yeah, and that was their time. You know, it was like a well-timed grenade, and that was it. You know, they got him. One thing I want to mention, I think Jet mentioned something about the VIP section coming back at one of these rounds for him. I don't know what that all is going to be regarding his deal and how much of a percent he's going to get, but I know they're doing some type of VIP section. I don't know if it's merchandise, but that is going to be happening this year in some of the outdoor rounds.
Yeah, I think they do. They run the VIP program. I thought they did it. I didn't know they'd ever stop doing it. Maybe they only did it for Supercross. They're bringing it to outdoors, but I don't know. How about the track conditions? So I've ridden not at Lakewood, but that Colorado, Utah dirt. I grew up in it. Wood chips is what we put in there. You grind them up, you throw them in. Because if not, when you throw down water, it becomes ice. You know, they were all complaining about that ice in that second moto after putting water. Well, that's why you put the wood chips in there. And I get that Dylan doesn't understand that, Dylan Ferrandis, when he was calling it crap. I mean, this is funny what he said, and I get it. And they might have gone overboard, but that's why they do it. And we kind of have to do it out here in the West.
Well, I think his problem was that they were sitting on top. They didn't churn the wood chips in properly or break them down, where when you would go into one of these terms, you would just skate, because if any rider knows, if you're riding on top of wood chips, it's like ice. And especially if you water them, it just pushes. Have you ever been like a trail or anything?
Yeah, it's like hitting a wet log.
Exactly. So it's just like that much more slippery, and you don't have that same grip under your tires. But At least they're trying something new. My biggest problem was how deep they prepped it. It was just way too ready to start the day. Like when we look back at the open practice when they did, typically they do press day, but they did an open practice for this round, which was really cool. I would love if they did that more, especially as a privateer like myself. Like that track time helps tremendously when you go into time qualifying. It's massive having that extra session the day before because you really have an idea. But they ripped it so deep, they soaked it, and then you could see we're gonna get into the motos soon enough. But when Deegs was behind Jet and he was bonsaiing some of those hills, you could see like he clearly had the wheel, and then all of a sudden he had to check up and try to follow him because Jet would have so much more real estate on him going into those turns because they all funnel back together. And it's like if you go out of that main line, you lost so much time. And I was like, what are they doing? It's good to have ruts, but not to the point where you can't pass. It's just slot car racing.
I absolutely agree. And I think a lot of this has to do with modern day bikes being able to rip it, the tires being paddle. Everyone runs a scoop everywhere pretty much. And
Sure.
you're never going to keep a track without getting rutted when you're going to run those kinds of tires. But I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, they thought it was going to rain and they did that thing where they packed it and sealed it.
Right.
I thought that made for some of the best racing ever because you could change lines. They still got to have some chop and ruts, but I like that better. And if you want to go sand at Southwick and seal it at Colorado, let's give these guys some different terrain.
I prefer that. I mean, look at the GPs. They race all different types of terrain, all different kinds of track prep. And I've been like, I've done a bunch of nationals, and every single time, Chris, the only national that doesn't do it is Southwick because it's sand track, but they always till it deep and they always soak it to where it's mud. And when your first practice, like, B practice goes out there and it's just soaked in mud. You are just like a cookie coming back and just covered in mud. Your bike weighs, it's stupid. Like just to try to get all the mud off of it. And they don't learn. They just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's like the track's better when they prepare for it to be a monsoon and then they actually have it a bit more hard pack. And then, if it doesn't rain, they're like, oh, wow, you could actually pass because guys can change lines. They could redirect off these berms and they're not locked into that single rut all the time, just like you're talking about when they sealed the track in previous rounds. They need to do that for some of these rounds going forward.
Yeah, and then rip it at some, but leave it sealed. Let's have some different terrain.
Variety.
It's outdoor motocross. You shouldn't be able to run the same tire all year long. That tells me I don't want uniform motocross. I want motocross. Outdoor motocross is what it is. Before we move on to Sexton, let me ask you this. If you're the Deegans and you realize you're getting targeted, what do you do? How do you respond to this? Do you sit down and tell them like we're going to take legal action? I mean, what do you do if you're Hayden Deegan? Do you try and rally the other riders and say, listen, they're doing it to me, they could do it to you? What would you do?
I would do what he did about when they took the win away from him in Supercross. The media, the people, there's a lot of power in the people and the voices. Just having everybody on his side like he did with that really cool video about how he was like in front of the fire and he kind of like lit the fire and they took away his win streak, which affected the record book. He would have had one of the biggest streaks, if not the biggest, in 250 class. And, they robbed that from him because he missed one bail in that turn. That was the most ridiculous penalty. One of the most ridiculous I've ever seen. I would get the media involved, get everyone on his side, like he's been doing, really amp people up. And then if he can get the rider's attention, that would be the next move. But it's going to be a little bit difficult since he does have a target on his back. And I think a lot of the riders aren't as from what I've seen. I don't know personally all his, his friends on the track, but it doesn't seem like there's many people in his circle.
Yeah. And Larry Siemens says, let Deegan's dad take care of the politics. I agree with you. And that's what I would also say. I mean, Hayden's got a stiff charge in front of him. He's got to beat probably the greatest rider I've ever seen. I've watched a lot of good riders, and I think Jet might be the very best. I mean, he's incredible. And to challenge him, you better be focused on racing. But Brian needs to rally with these other team managers to say, listen, you see they're doing it to us now. Trust me, it might be you next time. Whoever speaks out, whoever they're mad at, don't we want this sport to be a legitimate sport? And also, let's take a look at that TV deal. And Brian needs to go after the TV deal. I mean, anyone with ChatGPT or just plug in the ratings, Peacock, and what the deal would possibly be worth. It's $100 million. Even if they're not getting $100 million, if they got a horrible deal, it's like 30 or 40 million. They're still that they could give more back to the riders, make it a piece of it. And they got to get off their asses and do something. And I really hope this gets Brian to get with those team owners because he's got a good enough reputation. He's got a big enough name. I think he can.
Did you see Daniel Blair's review video? He was talking about how cool it'd be if he got Dana White involved with motocross.
They're trying, just so you know.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that's actually real.
Oh, I didn't know that was real. That would be sick. I think that would be great. Like, he can have a lot of leverage or do something to make it better. It can't even Dana, everything that he's doing with the UFC is way better than what's been happening with the AMA. Like, way better.
Isn't that hilarious? So the mainstream media in like baseball, football, they're all trashing Dana for how he treats his athletes. Our guys get treated so badly. We're longing to even get a taste. Listen, maybe it's different. Maybe it's more like the UFC and they got this promotional machine to where they only pay like 20%. If our guys got 20%, they would get like, we'd actually have like, you'd be able to race. And if you think about this as a privateer, if you had a couple practice tracks that they maintained, kind of like the Performance Institute, so these guys wouldn't have to pay for facilities everywhere. Like, there's so many things they could do to reinvest and they don't do any of it.
Right. Yeah. We'll see. I guess we'll see what unfolds there. I would love to see what happens with the Michael Jordan team that you were talking about. If Dana White gets involved, that would be incredible for the sport. So, hopefully they were able to have some conversations at the White House event with the UFC. That was really cool again to see what, like, what it takes jump in the White House there.
Justin Gaethje. We're not going to do MMA talk, but that had to be one of the coolest fights I've ever seen. And I wasn't a huge fan of fighting on the White House lawn. I feel like they got enough on their mind, but I will admit that was awesome.
I saw highlights of the fight. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing yet, but we'll talk about it later on in the but hats off to Gaethje for getting that win. That was really unexpected.
Dude, he's a true American, and he's like a longtime privateer. Finally got it done. It could be his last.
Well, he's the underdog. That's the thing, you know.
Dude,
I didn't expect him to beat Paddy Pimblett, and then I didn't expect him to beat him. So to get the title was incredible.
Yeah, I agree. So now, speaking of underdogs, this guy's probably never been an underdog, but he will when he finally finds a new team. Chase Sexton. So I was watching him on press day. He has been so disappointing this whole year. The team wanted to ride World Supercross to help him see how it is in race pace. He wanted to go to Hawaii. Then the bike sucks, and they've done everything within their power. And I get this. They have a history of not giving riders what they want. They have changed things. My hairline's leaving the chat. It is actually. Sorry, guy made me laugh. But they have a history of not giving guys what they want, but they've gone above and beyond to give him everything they need. And it just seems to be getting worse. And I'm impressed that he looked horrible. Like, I did a video where I showed when he didn't crash on that triple, his bike just sounded different. Like his gearing was off. He was just, it was rough. It was rough.
Well, they're going to make adjustments to the bike. Every team is making adjustments because of the altitude. They change the ECU settings. They're changing engines. This is something that they have to do, just like they've done at Salt Lake, right? Like all the rounds at altitude, because they need to get more power out of these machines. And Honda has been the best team to do this thus far. I mean, look at the starts that these guys are getting. But Chase's crash was really weird, that the bike was just off and he was just like nosediving. That was completely quiet and then just hit the ground. It was strange because he hit his rear brake, but he's a pro. I don't think he stalled it from hitting his rear brake.
He said he didn't hit the rear brake.
He didn't.
He said he didn't. I heard people say that he did.
I thought at Vital MX, the interview with Lewis, he said, like, am I not allowed to hit my rear brake? Like, Chase said that in the interview with Lewis. So
I could be wrong. Okay, well, I'll
maybe I'm wrong. But I thought I heard.
But like, he shouldn't. The bike sounded like something went wrong. I mean, it didn't sound like, you ever lug up to a jump and when you're in such a low gear, it's like almost going to cut off like on a hot lap or something. Sure. That's what his bike sounded like hitting that jump. So it would make sense if you're almost shutting off or not idling properly and you do tap the brake and you don't have the clutch right there, it might shut off.
Well, at altitude too, Chris, if they're using new ECU settings, it cuts out immediately. It's not like a sputter. With this, like with the electronics of how advanced that they are, I have my ECU done by Twisted on my 450s and my 250s, right? And what I noticed is it's not like a two-stroke. A two-stroke will give you a little bit of a warning. You know, you'll have a sputter or something else, but these four-strokes with these ECUs, it's just out, like gone. It's like you hit a kill switch. So if he didn't have that extra juice that he needed off the top of the lip, which it seemed like he just the window started rolling down after that. It made me think that something went wrong with the bike there. I don't believe that was his fault. The dude is one of the best racers in the world. He's a supercross champion, a motocross champion. Even though he crashes a lot, does chase things. Let's look at the stats at least. He's won 2 supercrosses on this bike already. If he couldn't jump the bike, he wouldn't win 2 supercrosses.
Yeah, and he did have that one where it blew up on him before Daytona. So this is the second time. I don't know. Yeah. One of these channels, I can't remember who it was, did a slow-mo, and you can see him clearly tap the brake, pulling the clutch. Yeah, so I think I had it slow-moed it. But I don't know, man. This is rough. At this point, is there any salvaging this? And you have been lobbying for him to go to Star Yamaha.
Long time, yep.
There's a path there. He's going to have to ride for nothing. But the more bad things that happen, the more likely he's going to go for nothing. What do you think? What do you think, dude? What would obviously you're probably going to tell him to go, but I think he's crazy.
I would go. It's a relationship that's ran its course. It's like he needs to break up. They know they need to break up, and it's time to break up. That was the deciding factor. If I were him, I'd be gone. I don't care about the money. Bet on himself. He's young enough. He's in his prime. He's riding like he can ride really good. He could be up front with all those guys if he's feeling it. And on Star, Bobby has a talk with him, sits him down. You're going to go to the farm. You're going to train with us. That's what he needs. He just needs the mental training, get on the bike, get on the same program. I wouldn't let him do his own thing. I would almost put a clause in the contract like, dude, you got to come train with us because he needs a full reset. He can't keep doing what he's doing because the definition of insanity is to do the same thing every day and expect a different result.
Yeah, the problem at this point is nobody wants him anymore. And he hasn't got the memo that you can't burn through 3 factories. Even if you can win races, they have to sell a bike. The amount of damage that he's done, he didn't do much damage to Honda. He did pretty good for them, but he did a lot of damage to KTM out the door, and it's been a catastrophic mistake for Kawasaki. How do you think bike sales have gone this year thanks to Chase Sexton? He's destroyed them.
Right.
Like, I would say single-handedly.
Right. I would say he's damaged Kawasaki's reputation more than Honda or KTM because, look, he still won the title on the Honda. He still won the title on the KTM. So even if you want to blame the bike for all his crashes, you can't because he's already proven he won a championship on each of those manufacturers. Now, when we look at the Kawasaki, we have not seen Chase Sexton at his best. We've seen Chase win some supercross races, but there were some factors involved. It was earlier in the season. He got, how he positions himself with that start. The other one was the last round of the series. All the focus was on Kenny and Hunter. A lot of the pressure was taken off of him. So what I can say is we have not seen Chase at his previous level on the Honda or the Honda or the KTM at all when he's been on this Kawasaki. So this bike definitely looks the worst, and it doesn't help after everything that happened with Prado.
Yeah, I agree. They have had a bad relationship, but he's had 2, and this is his 3rd. Even if he goes somewhere else, Chase Sexton has to do some soul searching. He cannot keep the same attitude. The minute something goes wrong, he blames and points the finger and destroys the relationship.
Sure.
I don't care if he stays here, he's going to have to make it work. I don't know. I think he's probably already done enough damage to this relationship. It's irreparable. But wherever he goes next, he is going to have to change his attitude and figure out how to dial in the bike the way he wants. Modern day motorcycles, you can make them good. Kenny proved that. He's on a Suzuki. The Suzuki is not the best chassis in the world, but he makes it. It gives him the feel that he wants. He's comfortable on it, and you can win. Chase has to figure out how to get that.
Yeah, he does have to get that. But the problem is when you're really uncomfortable on a bike, it's not going to go as well because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to push. You're not going to ride the same. And like I said, I've ridden the Kawasaki, I've ridden the KTM, I've ridden the Honda. I'm on Yamaha now. I've ridden all these bikes, and I could say out of all these, just in a stock level, the Kawi is the worst one. I wouldn't want to ride that bike. I didn't like it. It's not stable. It has a weird way of handling. It's not fast. It's really slow. I apologize for my dog barking, but all I'm saying is Chase, I think he should take the pay cut, do what Prado did, bet on himself, put that pressure on himself, reset everything, go to Star, get on a different program. it can't hurt him. Like if he's training with Justin Cooper and the Deegs, it's going to keep him sharp. I think it would be refreshing for him because he needs something different. It's like I said, it's a relationship that ran its course, and it's time to pull the plug.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's tough, man. Like I said, he may have to go to a quad lock Honda, because I don't know that nobody's going to pay him on anything other than a bonus only contract. I don't know if Monster's going to stay with him. I'll tell you what, Beeker's his agent, and Beeker is going to have his hands full trying to figure out how to get this guy a fraction of what he's making at Kawasaki anywhere else. He's going to have to go win and prove himself, and still he's going to probably make less than if he went out and got fifth on the Kawasaki.
Sure.
And I understand, and he's 26. He pisses away 3 years pouting on Kawasaki. I mean, he's heading into 30, and guys can go into their 30s, but he's got some heavy competition right behind him in Deegan,
of course,
Jet, Hunter, like 3 years messing around. He's going to have to, he got Coonan coming. Like in a couple of years, he might be at best a fifth place guy.
Yeah. So he can be, but remember, he has that ridiculous speed if he's on. Of course, he could tuck the front end at any time. He can go down, but let's look at his talent. He rides phenomenally. His technique is right there with Jets. He's had some of the prettiest style in motocross. And if I were him, again, I would bet on himself at this time. Legacy. It's legacy at this point. He can make more money. He'll win off the bonuses if he does really well. So that's what I would do if I were him. I would take the loss, or not loss, take the loss of money, go to Star. If it doesn't go well there, he can get on a B team. He can go to Quad Lock. He can go to Club MX, right? Like, at least give himself a fair shot on a bike that can win. I'm not saying the Cowie can't win, but something that's really going to put him in position where he can't make any more excuses.
Here's a hot take. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to MXGP and one of those teams throws a lot of money at him and takes him over there.
We'll have to talk about that because that was in one of the viewer questions, actually.
Okay. I didn't see that. I didn't read it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that might actually happen. Jason Anderson, he's out riding again. He was at Lake Elsinore. It sure is nice to see El Hombre back on the bike. Pretty pumped. And, I think I know what's going on with him. They've been very quiet about it. I don't care what it is. The sport's better when El Hombre is out there. Do you think he comes out for a national, or do we see him at SMX?
I think he comes out for a national. I don't know which one yet. Maybe a little bit later on once he's prepped and ready. The extra points will be good for him because he lost a lot of points in Supercross and everything that transpired. So these guys want to put themselves in positions for good seeding going into the finals. So I think at least a round or two. What do you think?
I'd have to look at that. I should have looked at that and saw where he's at. Somebody in the chat, if you can look up the SMX points and see where he's at. Is he in the top 18 solidly, or is he going to have to race a couple nationals to make sure he's into the main event? Because you don't want to go to those LCQs at every round. So yeah, that might be a very good reason to come back for a couple nationals, is make sure he gets some points to get in there without going to that LCQ.
Right. But honestly, though, I'm not expecting too much from Anderson right now. I still need to see more from him on the Suzuki. And after everything, after World Supercross, I haven't seen him get the same performance. He's just been struggling a bit on this bike. I don't know what it is, but he could change. Maybe he's a little bit hot and cold, but I'm curious to see where he's going to stack up.
Yeah, and I really do hope that he's back for World Supercross. He's a great personality, and I want to see him defend that number one plate. Like, he earned that thing. That was a pretty big deal, and he's going to have some big competition this year, and he better come in ready. Well, let's get to some racing here. We've been talking about all that stuff for a while.
Let's do it.
Jet Lawrence is the king. Holy crap. I don't even know what to say. He is riding so good on a clearly bad leg.
Yeah. It's getting better from what he said. It feels a lot better than last week and the week prior. And he said that the track has helped him with this. One thing that he mentioned in one of the interviews was when there's a lot of obstacles, a lot of big singles or downhills, and he really has to feel that impact on his leg, it affects him. But for this round, it didn't affect him as much. And at Hangtown, it didn't affect him as much as he thought either. So this confidence is really coming out of him now, and I'm curious to see if there's going to be any setbacks or if it's just going to keep going up and up and up. He's going to keep gapping these guys.
Well, I'll tell you, his brother is frustrated, and I've watched these guys really close and how they race. Throughout their entire careers, they've raced each other like brothers, like teammates. They've been very respectful. The fastest guy usually gets the line. What I saw in Colorado was something I've never seen out of those guys. That was some hardcore line cross jumping. I mean, they were racing each other like they raced Chase Sexton, and it was gnarly. And you can see the tension between those guys. Am I crazy, or did you see that?
I saw more tension between Deegs and Jet, but he was racing Hunter really hard. And I think Hunter need actually be a little bit harder on Jet because he gave it away on that one pass on the start, like we were talking about before the broadcast here. You know, Hunter made the pass on Jet, and then on that uphill, right where the start is, he should have closed off that line, took a look over his shoulder. He knew Jet was right there. He could have easily pinched him, and he didn't. And that was it. Jet got him and just held him down. It was over at that point because the track's really tough to pass. You have to get that pass and then maintain it. Something that I want to mention as a racer, once you pass a guy, you have to break them. You cannot give them any time to retaliate because if they have that little bit of hope, like, oh, I can get them back in this corner or the next corner, you got to immediately gap them, shut them down, whatever it takes. Because if you give them that little glimmer of hope, then they're going to try to get you back and then you're stuck with them the rest of the race. It just, you lose a lot of time, you get frustrated, you can make mistakes. So I think Hunter will learn from this and carry on.
And it's got to be incredibly frustrating for Hunter or whoever else catches up to Deegan or catches up to Jet. Because once you catch him, until you show him a wheel, and then he just does these superhuman things in the next 3 turns and puts a gap back out and just it's like he's messing with them. He's toying with the best riders in the world. I've never seen anyone be able to do that. And, you know, it's not like he's at a local track doing this to locals. He's doing this to the best in the world. It's crazy.
But one thing I want to mention, Chris, is Hunter qualified fastest on the day. He was faster than Jet most of that moto. He was hounding him, trying to get around him. Then Jet just held the lines. He's like, oh, it's Hunter behind me. I'm just going to stay here. Like he has this like sixth sense of like, oh, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move this way. He kind of reminded me of Cooper Webb a bit with his racecraft, like having eyes on the back of his head to where no one was able to get around him. But Jet was actually vulnerable that Moto 1. I haven't seen Jet like that in a very long time. Look at Hunter. Look at Deegs all over him. Even Coonan was catching him. That's something that we don't see.
Was he though? Was he really? He's done this every time. Like, when are we going to learn? He does this every single year.
He does, but he got the start, and that track was very start contingent. Like the roost was terrible. It was hard pack. You're getting hit by all the rocks. It was very one line, even though there's ruts everywhere. But you slot car back into that. It's like a one file line. Like in grade school, everyone's like, "All right, get in line, get in one file line." Like that's how I felt with this track. And Jet knew the lines. He knew the fast lines. He carried speed. He kept the insides protected, and it was over. Once Jet, got to that second moto, which we'll get to soon enough, then he had an advantage because his throttle control really set him apart compared to all the other riders. But Moto 1, when the track was still a bit fresh, you had better traction, he was vulnerable there.
Yeah, I still think Jet, if Hunter had gotten the start, Jet just finds a way. He would grab, like he has more in the tank that he's not using. And I don't think he has as much as he's had in years past in the tank, but he's always holding on to a little bit. Hunter, I think we're seeing that's all he's got. That's it. I don't think Hunter can dig down and go any faster than that. Jet can. And that's terrifying and frustrating to these guys. But I had talked about Hunter being tired and frustrated after Supercross. And I don't know how you couldn't be. That was emotionally, physically just taxing on him.
Sure.
And I think we're seeing a little bit of that. Like he got away with it at Paula, but I thought, you can kind of see it at Hangtown, those mistakes in Denver. I think he's going to, that week off is coming at a really good time for him. Not next week.
Yeah, but it's also coming at a good time for Jet because extra time for Jet means he's going to recover faster. He's going to feel better and he's going to be more alien-like. So even if it's benefiting Hunter, it's going to benefit Jet even more. I think Hunter has the best shot of striking him while he's still not at his peak. I don't know how long it's going to take until we get to see Jet at complete 100%. He's beating these guys not being at 100%, but Hunter needs to get the start on him. when we look at Hangtown, let's just rewind 1 second to Hangtown. Before the restart, when Hunter was ahead of him, I think he would have checked out. I think he had Jet covered at Hangtown. But when they restarted and then Jet got the start, that was it. Hunter was all over him, and then he couldn't get back around him.
Dude, I'm telling you, if Jet needs to, he grabs it. He would have probably followed him for 2 laps, made a quick pass, and then did the same thing. He finds a way. In the second moto, he finds a way. In the first moto, he'll let a guy win. He'll let Hunter win a first moto, but he is not going to let him win a second one. And that's just, I don't know. The guy I think that can beat him is Lucas Coonan. In Southwick, I think Lucas Coonan's going to win. Have you ever seen Lucas Coonan in the sand? He makes Jeffrey Hurlings go, wow.
Yeah, I saw him pass Jeffrey in the sand, which was pretty mind-blowing. That's something that you don't see. Just everything saying he's a sand specialist. He's the best to ever do it in the sand. That really impressed me. But being a local to Southwick and that being my favorite track, I've ridden there a bunch of times. Southwick isn't typical sand. It has a hard packed base and it gets choppy. And you have chop along with moguls, and it's not thick. As the track deteriorates and goes on, you have this base, and then it's really slippery on top. And it's going to be a really tall order for Lucas to beat Jet at Southwick, just because it's not like Belgium sand where it's super deep and all moguls. We're not going on that type of turf. I think if we're going on that type of turf, I'm going to give the nod to Lucas. But what I've seen Jet at Southwick and raced him and he lapped me, I was just mind blown by how fast he is. Like, he hops around the track, Chris, like just hops, floats, wheel taps this, jumps that. It's like the bumps aren't even there. I know he has one of the best bikes out there, but the kid is so talented. And it's going to be a really tall order. Let's put it that way.
Okay, we're going to side bet because I'm telling you, I said earlier I was picking Jet until further notice. I'm just taking Lucas Coonan at Southwick only. Every other one, I'm going to go ahead and stamp Jet in there.
I'm putting Jet for Southwick. I've seen too much of him there. Like,
okay, we'll get to that one. It's not even the next round. We'll get into it. But I just can't wait to see. And I had said in the past I didn't want the Coonans to come over until 2028, but that was only because I wanted Aaron Plessinger to get another year on KTM. Now that I haven't seen the contract, but I've heard he's Triumph for another 2 years. As long as AP has a home, come on over, guys. I say bring them over next year. Take those 2 number 1 plates from the MXGP and come on over here. And hey, when we get to Sexton, that's where I think he might go, is to Carly. So we'll see about that.
Right. But I think Jet's going to be vulnerable at the right track. If it lines up properly, it could be Southwick. I'm not saying it can't be, but I'm still picking Jet. But I think Danger Boy low key is going to be really good at Southwick as well. If we put him on softer terrain where he doesn't need to have throttle control, it's going to benefit him a lot, because when we look at that first moto here at Colorado, in that first moto, he was on it. He could be on the gas. There was really good traction. The track still had flat sections and he wasn't losing his rear wheel as much. But by the time the second moto came around, the traction was gone. You really saw him, fall back. But I'm excited to see Danger Boy, let's say at Redbud, at Southwick. High Point's going to be challenging because I think we're going to see a lot of the same that we saw at Thunder Valley. I've raced there too. It gets really deep, muddy, the hills. It's slimy, a lot of throttle control. So I think we're going to see a lot of it again. But I'm excited to when things really start to soften up, and even Millville will be a really cool track. So I'm excited for Deegan.
Deegan's going to win his first race at Washougal. So that's the only one. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm going back.
Where Jet is vulnerable. Yeah, but Chase beat him there in the moto, I believe, right? Didn't he beat Jet in moto there?
Yeah. Jet hates Washougal. So
right.
And Deegan loves Washougal. So we'll see. How about Mr. Marchbanks on that maligned Kawasaki out there running with those guys? I wasn't top 3. It gave him 3rd, which was ridiculous. Okay, I'm okay with the penalty. I'm okay because I think it was cheating. A position every single time. If you took 11th place, it was over a minute behind where he finished. That's not fair. Just give him a 10-second penalty.
Right.
And then I don't think you penalize Hunter or Prado like one time. And Hunter almost was forced to take the line to defend from Deegan. So, the AMA sucks.
We got to get a soundbite of that. Put that in the intro for you.
Yeah. But it was funny. I heard on Mattress's show, the review, they were talking about Marchbanks. And he said when they called him to go 3rd, gate pick, he's like, wait, I didn't get 3rd. And he tried to give it to Hunter because he's like, I didn't earn it. How cool is that?
That is cool. That's
He's
really
such a
cool.
cool dude.
Yeah, he's riding really good. I'm impressed with Marchbanks. He's making the Cowie look good. He's making people smile over there, really changing the energy, and he's he's impressed me because he's beating Prado. He's leveling up every single round. I'm curious to where he's going to end up at the end of the season. I think he's going to be a consistent top 5 guy, kind of moving some of these other guys out of the way, like AP, Dylan Ferrandez, even RJ. He's one of the boys right now in this outdoor series. I think Supercross he's still gonna have a way to go there, but outdoors he's clicking.
Yeah, he's building his confidence, and Kawasaki had to be just cheering when he was running down Prado at the end of that second moto. They're like, "Yes, get that guy," because all their issues with him. That's got to be pretty sweet for those guys. But I don't think Prado wants to be there. He wants to ride Supercross. He doesn't care, and I think you're starting to kind of see that.
Why doesn't he care, Chris? I thought he'd want to win an outdoor title since he won, the GP title.
Because he conquered outdoors. He conquered motocross. He came here to be a supercross star. But he had to sign an outdoor contract because who was going to sign him for contract? Like, who was going to sign him for supercross only? He had to agree. But now that he's had good supercross results, he just doesn't care. He's like, he's already climbed this mountain. He's just doing it because he has to. He wants to just race supercross. And I think you're going to see a really good Prado next year in supercross.
Yeah, I'm still not there yet. I'm Prado. I know he can run up front and he's got on the podium, but it seemed to be a little bit track dependent and start dependent for Prado. It had to be hard pack. It had to be certain conditions. Like when we go back to when the track was really ruddy, he fell apart. He ended up getting lapped and was just like, what happened to Prado? And then all of a sudden the next round when it's hard pack again, he's up front. So that's not going to fly if you're trying to be in the championship for all 17 rounds.
Yeah. And then you got RJ Hampshire. So I'm bummed. He's on that team that is defunct. I have heard, and I'm pretty sure I can't.
Ducati?
Yes, it's Ducati.
I heard. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't confirm it, but yes.
But he was waiting on Kawasaki, right? He was hoping to hear something.
That was one of the things he was hoping on, but it didn't quite develop. But he is going to Ducati. But it's tough being on that Rockstar team where they're gone. So what I'm hearing is they're not getting the good stuff. The KTM has multiple different shock variations. I don't think he's getting the good one, and I think his shock's fading. He's getting the same. Remember the same one that Vial and Sexton were complaining about last year?
Sure.
I believe he's getting those same types of issues on that bike, and it's got to be frustrating, And I get it for those guys. They're not going to put a bunch of money into a team to go develop something when they're going to go ahead and just dump it. So,
has he said that to you? Where did you get that information about the shock with him?
The walls told me, easy there, dude.
I'm sorry. The reason is I'm curious because
he did not tell me. He did not tell me. But I could tell you off air. And I've just heard that from a few people.
My problem with it is I assumed he's on the same bike. And what we saw from him last year, he was flying. He was a consistent top 4 rider and even being on the podium at times. Remember, he rode MX Nations for us and he was flying until he went down a few times. So I'm comparing him to RJ last year, which may not be fair, but I expect that because I know what he's capable of. So it makes me think, all right, what's wrong? Is it him or is it the bike?
It's the bike, and it's because they're almost like the secondhand team, the team that's going away. You're a part of it's a going out of business sale, and they're not going to put
going out.
They are. Well, that's essentially they're grabbing parts. They're not going to order a brand new and develop a new shock that the ones that Prado or Tomac are using. They're just going to give him what they had last year, and we know last year's faded. So
right, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know the financial side of things with KTM and Husky and everything right now, how much they got out of the hole there, or if things improve, but they're getting rid of AP too, right? Isn't he going to Ducati or Triumph? Okay, Triumph, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's why I didn't want the Coonins to come over, because I knew he wouldn't get another opportunity at KTM if they did. They were waiting on that, but he's out either way. He's got his own home, so come on over, Coonan boys. And then Ferrandis, gosh dang, his pre-race just had me laughing. He said he was with that French accent. He's like, this track is shit. Get the GNCC guys over here. He had me laughing so hard, but he says it in that accent. It seems nice.
He's funny. He's
I really like him.
He has some funny takes, some hot takes, but yeah, I mean, we can't forget Dylan is a previous champ. He won the title in 2021. He flies. It's probably got to be tough for him to get on this new brand and try to make things work. And he's doing a good job. And all the guys on the team at Factory Connection really making that bike work. But it's very difficult to compete at the highest level when you're going to a completely new manufacturer that are still figuring out all the settings. They're going on to this track for the first time. They can't go back to their record books and be like, all right, this setting worked, that setting worked. We didn't like this in Moto 1. So it's just a bit challenging, but yeah, he's always fun to watch. And I expect him to start to turn it up, especially when we get to High Point. He likes High Point, which will be the next round. And then also Unadilla. And I see the chat. My name is Matt Hammer.
Guys, this is Matt Hammer. He's only been doing the show with me for like the whole year.
Yeah.
And remember, I met him when he qualified for Southwick. They took it away for sound. I was like, this dude's cool. He's been a guest on quite a bit. He knows the ins and outs of the sport. By the way, subscribe to his channel. It's live brought here. It's Hammer Moto, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone else in the 450s before we go to the 250s?
I'm pretty good on the 450s. I'm ready to go 250s.
All right. So 250s. Joe Shimoda saved his season. Holy crap. He looks like the strongest. Well, he's not the fastest guy right now, but if I'm picking a title favorite and you make me pick right now, I got to go with him. Like he fought hard after that first moto crash to survive and still put himself in a position to get the overall win. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, we talked about this in the preview show. I picked Cole Davies to do the title, but I was like, Joe could do it though. I feel like, but I went with Cole, but I think Cole's going to take another year the way things are unfolding for him. He has the speed, the consistency just isn't there at this point, but Joe is going to get faster and faster every single round. He just doesn't tire out. He keeps improving. We just look at history and it's like history is repeating himself. He's typically a slow starter, and then every single round makes improvements. And now he's got a little confidence. He won this overall, and he didn't even win a moto yet. Just wait until he gets to start and then just checks out from these guys. It's gonna be pretty bad for the rest of them. And Levi and Seth better do something quick, because if they don't stop this momentum, it's gonna be the Joe show.
1000%. And Jason Thomas said it on the poll. I listen to the review show all the time, and he comes up with some one-liners or some little lines that are pretty funny. And he said, it's like when you're late and you're racing stoplight to stoplight and you're flying and you get there and that person that was just cruising just rolls back up to you like they're still there. And that's Joe with these two Kawasaki guys. I'm like, yeah, he's just 6 points out. They needed to get a bigger gap on him because, like you said, once he finds that, and I'll tell you, Levi Kitchen, it's missed opportunities. Like this dude laying in that turn so long at Paula, like he's given up probably 15 points already.
Well, his teammate Seth isn't helping him. He's kind of causing a lot of these first turn crashes. Let's talk about your boy for a sec.
What's that?
Well, we should talk about Hammaker, your boy. What's up with his starts and all these pileups?
I really like Seth, but bro, if you don't have the whole shot, you can hit the brakes. You should make it through the first turn. You don't have to just like he rides into that first turn. Like if he doesn't come out in first place, his life's over.
Right.
He almost kills everybody else in the process. But the smart thing is if you're going to go down, take Levi with you because that's the guy that you're battling for the title. But yeah, I would be really frustrated if I had to race him because I'm like, you can't keep doing that, man. How many times are you going to do it? You're a pro. If you don't have a handlebar on somebody, that means check up. Don't run your handlebar through their handlebar. I don't know what to tell him. It's frustrating because he's got the speed. He doesn't need that whole shot. He can come out of there 5th, 6th, 8th and still win it because he's strong enough and good enough. It's like he has to believe that. Yeah,
I hope Mitch talks to him. Someone's got to talk to him because this has been happening a long time. Just like I'm looking at the comments here, just like Battleblade said in the comments. Look at what happened with Deegs a long time ago in Supercross. He was doing this for years, going into the turn hot, not hitting the brakes, and just taking out the whole field. And this is a novice thing. This is something that you see in the C class. You don't even see it in the amateur class at local races. I don't understand why Seth is doing this because he's such a good rider. He's so talented, and this could cost him the championship if he keeps doing this. You can't get a 1 on the board or a 2 on the board and then climb through the pack. It's just not going to happen in this field with how deep the field is and how tough it's been to pass.
Yeah, he does. He reminds me of like that novice rider. It's like so hyped up for their first race. They told all their buddies they're going to win, and they just hold it on in the first turn and take everybody out. That is Seth on a pro level. And I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Well, he's your title pick, though. I remember in the previous.
I know. Listen, that's 2 times. You can get away with it 2 times is more than you can get away with. Like, you crash in front of 40 riders, you're going to get run over and hurt. You got to stop doing it. And that's why why I'm so frustrated is he's so talented. If he could just stop doing that, he will win this title. And I really want him to win the title. I think he's probably going to win this weekend, but he's got to chill on the start. Because even if he doesn't get the start, even if he takes second to Levi in a moto or 2, he will get Levi. Levi's going to fade when they get to these hot rounds at Red Bud and some of these places. I just don't think he's got it for
Southwick.
Yes, I just don't think he's got it for
I put Joe in for Southwick for my pick already to win.
When ironically Levi lived or grew up at Washougal, he's not very good there.
No. Yeah, he's been struggling there for a long time. I don't know what it is, but just like bad starts, not working his way through the pack. But yeah, once it gets really hot, but we're not quite there yet. So he's got to gain these points on Joe now. This is the time for Levi. If he doesn't do it now, it's going to be a lot harder as the series goes on.
So when you pick Cole Davies, what's going on with your guy?
Well, we can work with speed, Chris. Let's just look at the stats, right? Cole can qualify fastest. He's already won a moto. Now we just got to get some consistency out of him. He's getting over maybe a Supercross hangover. He did win the title. Seth had some problems there, but he'll get there.
Will he though?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Deegan. Remember back in the day, it's like we'll race him when it's time with Rider D. When it's time for Cole Davies, it will happen. And I think next year is going to be the year. He just needs a little bit more XP. Just get out there. He hasn't raced this whole series too. Let's look at that. He hasn't been to all these tracks like all the other guys. He doesn't know how they all break down, how they all develop, and he's still going out there and crushing it.
Well, how's this going to affect his career development though? Because this dude's going to get next year, he's probably going to win Supercross, and then he's going to have to go to the 450. He's going to get one more season in the 250s, and he's out.
Well, thankfully, Supercross is you get paid a lot more for Supercross than for outdoors. So at least he's getting the right discipline.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're gonna pick, but he'll get there. Maybe he won't be as good at motocross compared. Some guys are just better at one discipline, and that's okay. But if you're gonna be better at one, at least in a financial standpoint, he's better at the one that makes more sense.
I agree. And I think a lot of it is it's not necessarily that he's not good at outdoors. He's incredibly good. Every Supercross, he gets a second. Like it's about a second every lap that he gets just because he's that much better in the whoops. You don't have that outdoors.
No.
So, you take that away and the other guys are a little closer. And it's not that he's been awful. I guess he had a bike problem they were talking about. But that class, dude, I was watching those guys. 1 through 20 is within 4 seconds. I don't ever remember seeing guys of those names battling for 18th and not being able to move up. Sasha Kunin went down, and I thought he would be able to get up in the top 10, but those guys were flying. He only got to 14th. The guy that won the second moto only got to 14th, and it wasn't because he was going slow.
It was also because of track prep, like I was talking about. They did a terrible job with the track prep, just being slot car, like one line. Everyone had to funnel back into the one line. If you went out, you were losing a lot of position. So that didn't help either compared to a different round. But
dude, have you ever seen the field this close?
No, I haven't. But that's one thing that we have to also take into consideration. But this field has been wide open since Deegs left. We don't like the Lawrence is left, Deegs left. Now we need someone to take the crown. And Joe's that guy. He's the most consistent guy, I believe, out of this field. And once he's on, that's it. It's going to be his time.
Well, I was looking at lap times, though, just to give you an idea how close the 250s are. What's that?
I want to pull these up. Take a look.
So in 20th place versus first place, you had a 4-second difference. In the 450 class, it was like 11 seconds or 9 seconds. It was but it's just deep, and you have to be really good. The only guy that's been able to come through the pack is Kitchen. You look at, in other years, even if Hammaker and him were down, they get back up to the front, but everybody's going so fast. The rookies, Caden Minier, Landon Gordon, Deacon Deno, Caden Dudney. I might autocorrect him to Disney. I'm like, who's Disney? I mean, Chance Hymas, he wasn't riding good.
That was,
but
we got to talk about Chance. That was
2013.
really
I'm
bad.
sorry. This is unacceptable for an HRC factory rider. He's sick. He's having a bad time, but it's not just this race. He has not been good yet this year. This is a problem.
Do you know what's wrong with him? Like, did he elaborate on what sickness it is? I didn't even know he was sick.
Yeah, I guess he was. Well, maybe they said he was sick. If you ride like that, at least tell people you're sick.
I think the results spoke for themselves there. 2013 on a factory bike, like you said, it's just completely unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, that will get you fired. You know, when you're supposed to be, when you went 1-1 there last year and you come out and go 2013, that is just not, it might be Epstein-Barr. I don't know. But even if it's Epstein-Barr, where's that one lap speed? I never saw anything out of him. I have not seen anything this whole year, really. And that's alarming. And I know he's coming back from knee injuries, but Julian Bomera's coming back from injuries. Joe Shimoda's coming back from injuries. Like, he's not the only one.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm curious how the rest of the season is going to unfold. Do you think it's injury based? Do you think it's him being sick, or do you think it's mental?
I will say this. If it is just mental, you sit him down, because you cannot keep running him out there. He's going to end up like Forkner, who hit his head earlier in the day. But I mean, you start dropping back and just finishing there, you become that guy. Like, you sit him down and find out what the problem is. He's got more talent than that. I mean, that's a deep field, but this is a special dude who's won races. Not many people on earth have won nationals and ran with Deegs and done the things that he's done. That's not acceptable, and something's wrong, and you got to figure it out. And I wouldn't keep running him out there. If that's the result you're going to get, sit him down and try and figure it out. Right.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder a bit, right? Because the ACL is a serious injury, and he's done it multiple times already, and he's young. But he's got to be thinking about that in those ruts, Chris, right? Because remember what happened at High Point when he put his foot down and they tore his ACL, and he was really upset about that. And this track was ruddy. It was very ruddy. It's so easy to put your foot down and just twist it, and there goes the knee. And now we're coming up on High Point, so I don't expect any better results for Chance for this round either.
Yeah, I don't know. And you can't ride like that with so many dudes barking for that ride. Caden Minier, Landon Gordon, Dudney. And Deacon. Like, there's so many guys that are looking for a job. You got Nick Romano getting on the podium.
Great ride. What a ride from Nick. He was crushing it.
I mean, how great was that? But I mean, that's just how deep the class is. I mean, but you got to at least, if you have a bad day, coming back from an injury and you're sick on the HRC Honda, you should be able to get 10th. I mean, we'd ask what's wrong if you got 10th, but we wouldn't be hitting the holy crap. Like,
the panic button.
That's in 20th, like, you're not even making mains at this point, like Supercross. Like, dude, that's not okay.
Dude, he was close to battling with me.
Seriously, yeah, you might have had him covered. I don't know. I think you'd realize how that pace was sick.
No, I know it was really fast. Fast. I mean, my best finish in 250 class was 24th overall. So I got 24th overall. But I'm just saying, like,
I know you're a badass, but this year to get 24th, well, this year would be a lot harder.
No, but all I'm saying, it would be difficult, very difficult.
You'd be better off to go to the 450 class. Anton Nordstrom got a point, so
yeah. All I'm saying is, for factory Honda, it's unacceptable. Let's just put it that way. It can't keep happening the way it's happening. But
so, do you think? Okay, so I'm very critical of Mitch Payton telling Nick Romano that you need to do good each week to keep your job. Apparently, it's working. But man, I just don't like it. I wish the dude got a podium. Just give him a ride for the rest of the year.
Well, maybe Mitch was too nice in the past. Maybe he's like, I have to do this because of what's been happening and transpiring with all of his riders, how they're getting hurt. They do well, and then they get hurt, and then they're out. I mean, but also Drew Adams was out there this week as well, and he just came off that injury, and he had a really tough performance as well. He finished behind Chance, just to mention. Who's he? Pulling up these.
Once again, I told you this is a deep field, so I get it. But
yeah, I'm just saying he was really far back as well. So it's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying it wasn't a bunch of fast dudes back there, but I was looking at Chance Hymas to win the race. So
Sure. He went 26-23 is what Drew Adams did. I think he came back too early from that injury, but yeah, that was a rough finish as well for him. But
and how about let's see. Oh, Sasha Kunin, crash or win. How great was that, dude? He
did
literally
what you said. He crashed or won. He did exactly what you said he'd do.
That's what he does. He's and I also told you when he's out front, like James and we each talk, like they're talking like, oh, he's got it wrapped up. I'm like, dude, you don't know Sasha. Any second now he could fly off the track, and he did. Where he flew off that double off the side. I'm like, dude, he has thrown away more leads than anyone I've ever met. But man, how fun is he to watch?
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. I didn't realize how, I thought he'd be up front, top 5, but to come out and win a moto the way that he did and stamped it and just had that gap was very, very impressive. And coming from so far away, different time zone, adjusting to the new schedule, the new format, new track. There's a lot of obstacles to overcome. And the Kunins, I'm excited when they come to America. Let's put it that way. They are phenomenal. They are going to, be in the runnings with the Lawrences at some point. So I'm excited to see when they make their move over here. But hats off to Sasha. Did exactly what you said. And maybe he wouldn't have gone down that moto if Cochran wasn't right there, because he did collide with him when he went down.
He did, but he didn't hit him the second time he wrecked.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It just a great depiction. And I'll tell you what, when Sasha rides Supercross, if you're buying tickets, don't buy in the first few rows because you don't know what he's going to do. Like I've seen him put it into fences, cameras, scaffolding. Like Sasha sends it, and then he'll get up and do it again. He's crazy. He is.
Yeah, I'm curious.
That's why he's my favorite guy.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how they translate over to Supercross, because that's just been difficult for the GP guys if you haven't grown up on Supercross. And I don't believe they grew up with Supercross, right? Like they haven't been riding it.
But they have been riding it. It's different when you get to these race tracks, but they have in the off season been dabbling with some Supercross. I think they'll do better than Prado did right off the bat. I don't know what that means, but they are going to struggle a little bit. I mean, even Prado here in his second year has still struggled. So you're going to see a learning curve, but I think they'll both get it fairly quickly. Well, at least, I'm sorry, Lucas will get it fairly quickly. Sasha's probably going to, like I say, win races and then end up in the 5th row, some other races.
I guess it's accurate. Well, I'm excited to see it though. That'll be fun. But anyone else? Yeah.
Anyone in the 250 class, or should we get to this breakdown?
I think we're good. I'm good for the breakdown.
Okay, so guys, when you come over to Matt's channel, he likes to do a lot of these breakdowns and stuff. So
yeah. So I want to break down this footage. My channel that I just started. If you want to see more content like this, I'm going to do rider breakdowns covering technique, just things to improve on your riding and get faster and be safer. Can we run this back, Chris? I just want to rewatch this again. I saw something that Lucas was doing that was really interesting.
Lucas Kunin coming out of a turn.
Yeah. So if you watch, he has his outer elbow up a little bit, and he's on the edge of his seat. If you rewind back, he's not sitting directly on top of the seat. A lot of riders, like novices and some B guys, will sit on top of the bike, and he has like his butt hanging off ever so slightly just to get a bit of a lean angle. Yeah, to get a little bit of a lean angle. And he has his chin right above the crossbar pad because you typically want to keep weight on that front end just to keep it down. But once he has it down enough, he gets all this traction and starts sliding back just like he would at start. So he combined a really cool technique, Chris, that I haven't seen too often unless it's been off a start, which he had his chin forward right here just to keep it down. And then all of a sudden, once he gets to this downhill part, he starts to slide back and loft that front end and get all the traction to the ground, laying down as much real estate as possible coming out of that turn, which helped him pull away and helped him lay down a fast lap.
Dude, I love that he's coming out of here and wheeling all the way, carried that wheel the whole way until about right. Like I can't see behind that tree, but he gave it full acceleration while being
one
on
thing I want to mention
wheel.
too is these riders
throttle control.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention with these riders too is you don't see them drag their foot often. All these riders, like I was taught, because I went to a lot of riding schools, went to a bunch of different facilities, GPF, I'm in MTF, Club MX. You never want your foot to hit the ground. So see, even though he has his foot dangling right here, it doesn't touch the ground. He tucks it back in and gets it right back on the foot pad. Because anytime that your foot hits the ground, think of it as a way of, okay, I could sprain my ankle. I could tear an ACL. I could potentially crash. I'm at least losing time. Every time your foot hits the ground in a turn like that, you're losing time. So one thing that you should practice going to the practice track is just keeping that foot up and not letting it hit the ground, keeping it tight to the shroud and tilting it inward if you can.
Yeah. Wow. That's impressive. And yeah, that's one of the things too, is those of us that grew up in the 90s on two strokes, you could touch your foot to the ground, but as bikes have gotten so fast, it's almost like road racing. You can't touch your leg to the ground. It pulls you all the way back. Like you're talking a different, even if people want to go watch a motocross in the 90s and check the speed differential. So you really do change and make sure those feet never hit the ground like that. That's a really good point. Okay. Want to get to some listener questions before we get to our picks. And boy, I crushed it, dude.
I know it was a rough one for me this time around.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot more chase talk. So these
MX Racing Team 23, go for it.
Yeah. These are viewer questions. If you guys have any questions, submit them in the comments, and we'll pick some for the next Drop the Hammer show. But anyway, Chase rode the Cowie before he got signed. He then signed the contract. Now says the bike's terrible. Why did you go to Cowie? Chris, you might know better than me since you know Marchbanks very well. Did he ride the bike before he got signed?
Yes. I don't know. Well, Marchbanks signed with Pro Circuit Kawasaki and they just bumped him, but they made sure to put in Marchbanks' deal. They could bump him, which told me there was a problem with the Prado deal, and they kind of knew that was coming, and they brought him as a backup. Chase, while I don't have perfect knowledge of it, I can tell you he's already rode the Triumph this year. So I'm guessing he rode the Cowie before he signed the contract. Like I said, I don't have prior knowledge, but these dudes always ride the bike. And I do know that they were kind of saying, hey, it feels good. You're happy, but let's go race World Supercross in a race situation. And he didn't want to.
Right. Yeah. I'm curious. Yeah. Like I said, you know better than me if he rode the bike or not. I guess we don't know that information. We can assume that he did, but Chase, like I said, it's clearly not working out for him. Even if he did ride the bike is so different to where it is now. It's almost not even the same bike, the parts and everything that he rode with it, because he brought the bike essentially back to stock and then changed everything one piece at a time to try to get it set up properly for him. And he's still having difficulty setting up the bike. So like I said, this is a relationship that's gone bad. It looked pretty in the beginning, and then that was it. It's like, all right, I think it's just ran its course.
Well, and I've had that. My dad took one of my bikes and started modifying it and doing stuff to it. I got so lost. I didn't even know if it was better or not, and I didn't know what direction. And I feel like Chase is also just kind of lost. He talks about this feel that he needs. I don't even know he remembers what that's like, and he's really confused. So it's hard to give a guy something if he's not even sure what he wants anymore.
Right. Okay, now we can get into this question. So G-Rex 273 says Chase MXGP. What do you think is a good fit for him or career ending, and what bike?
Yes. I actually think this might happen.
Wait, you think it's career ending, or you think he's doing it?
I think he might. No, I think it'd be great for him. I think he'd go out there. I think he kind of wants to have this worldly experience, because I've heard him in interviews talking to Lewis. And I think that's why him and Lewis from Vital get along so well, is that's something Chase wants to experience. He wants to be an MXGP champion before he's done. And he's not going to get a high dollar deal here. And DeCarly, with the Coonans leave, they got some money to spend because they're paying him a lot of money. Maybe he just goes over next year. Maybe that's the thing for him. Go rehabilitate his career over there. I don't know. And I don't know if he wants to give up Supercross this early in his career, but I think it would be brilliant for him. I would love to see that. I would hate to see him go over there and lose him here for Supercross, but I would also love to see an American in the MXGPs. I think it'd be great.
It'd be really cool. It kind of reminded me of what Villapoto did, at the end of his career. But I have a difficult time believing that Chase is going to make that move, because I believe he has a lot to prove here still. He wants to win. He wants to be the top guy and prove that he could still do it, even with everybody in the class. Yeah, it's a really good question. He could, but I don't know. I would imagine his position. He's struggling here right now on this bike, Chris. He's going to go to a foreign country. He's leaving his home behind, everything, all his family, friends, maybe his dad goes there. What if something doesn't go right there? And now he's struggling with the team or the bike, and now he's in this other country. How long is that going to last for? And especially with how long the series is, it's isn't it as long as our Supercross series or longer?
Well, it's like our outdoor plus about
Plus, yeah,
6 rounds.
it's a long series.
Yeah, but it runs all the way from, what was it, April to October, or till the designations is the final. But I got to say, with Villapoto, the only reason he went over there is because he wanted to retire, but he would have had to pay a certain amount of money back because his contract was front loaded. So he went over there as an agreement not to pay the money back. He never wanted to go over there. He wasn't even training with Alden Baker when he went over there. So that was not a fair depiction of what we can do. Okay.
Next question. So yeah, we got Brandon Counts here, 7-Eleven.
Brandon Counts, 7-Eleven.
Yeah, this is a good one. So I don't see Chase going to Star for one big reason. He's willing to be the new J Coop or Cooper Webb running second tier under Deegan. I don't see it happening. Deegan will outrun him every day at the practice track, no matter what it takes. I think taking the pay cut, going to club, and being a top tier rider on the team would boost his confidence. Just my thought. You want to kick off with this one?
I just don't think they want somebody like that who has proven to be like, they've got a pretty good thing going over there with Star and the guys, and they've been able to balance Deegan's personality. Do you really want Chase in the mix? Because that thing could blow up with Chase Sexton in there. So no, I don't see that happening. I don't think they want him there. Like I said, I think the best move for him probably now, if he doesn't want to ride the Kawasaki, go ride some MXGPs and then come back and tell me how much you miss Supercross in a year or two.
Yeah. I see Chase going to Star because, like I said, this Cowie relationship can't keep going on. It's been L after L. He got 2 Supercross wins, but besides that, it's been rough. It's been real rough. Now, what I could see happening is him going to Star, taking the pay cut, training with all these guys, going, resetting everything, which would be really great for Chase's career right now. Just completely start fresh, put everything in the rearview mirror. And now, if it didn't work out, hypothetically, let's say he's struggling at Star, it's not going well, there's always a chance to go to MXGP, or there's always a chance to go to a B tier team like we talked about, like Quad Lock Honda or Club MX, which are great teams. I'm not throwing any shade at them. They're great teams, but they're not a factory team like Star Racing or KTM or Honda. So I still see Chase running and exploring this option before he makes that move.
Yeah, and what GPX 111 saying, Yamaha is notoriously a bit flinchy, which is what Tomac told me at World Supercross when I talked to him, because I always thought the Yamaha was so comfortable, so stable. He's like, dude, it's not. They changed it in this new version, and he didn't like it, and he likes the KTM a lot more.
So I have both because I ride Yamaha. So I have the old version, which I actually prefer more on my 250. I love that bike. It's just like tried and true. I love how the balance is. You really don't have to touch too much on it. It just feels really good, even though it's a bit wide in like the rider area. It just has a great balance. So if you have the right technique, you can make it turn. However, the newer models are a lot less stable. They're a lot more twitchy. They're still really fast, but one thing I do want to mention is you can get triple clamps. You could get your suspension adjusted, get different linkage. You can do extended swing arm. And the new 26 model, they did improvise some of these changes into the bike. So they have made it more stable, and that's something that Yamaha is currently working on. But again, it's a trade, right? Anytime that they're doing new R&D, you're going to have a push and pull. It doesn't mean a new bike is always going to be better than the older bike. I mean, look what Roxon's done on the Suzuki.
Yeah, and that's Chase has got to figure out what he wants. I did see this earlier. Jalik Swoll recovering from his torn Achilles, reaching out to Brian Deegan, tell Dana to buy our sport. I just figured I'd throw that in there because I thought it was cool. Give Jalik a shout out. I know his recovery is going pretty well, and man, he really wants to be out there, especially this weekend going to Morris.
Where he won. He won there. Yeah,
he did. All righty. So we got our picks this weekend. And
I have one quick question. One quick thing. Jalik, did you talk to him at all? Or because I know you no.
Okay. I didn't this time. I just saw that and threw it in there. Somebody sent it to me when they sent the Deegan stuff. They're like, dude, all our guys they're catching on. I'm like, yeah, they're good. They get it.
That's great. I just wanted an update on him. That's all. If you were talking to him, but it's all.
I went to his Instagram and he looks like his recovery is going better, and he's posting a lot more positive stuff. I'll probably reach out here pretty soon, but no, he's good. And whoever signs him, you're going to get somebody ready to win on that 250, even though he is coming off some pretty serious injuries. Chaleek's good, man. He really is.
Very talented. I just want to see him stay in one piece, but definitely talented rider.
Yeah. So I got the red plate back. Holy crap. I went from way down to, I had a perfect 450 class.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had Jet, Lucas, and Hunter right on the money. 533. I scored 11. I maxed out 250s. I got lucky that Kitchen was second, so I got 3 points. You had Jet, Hunter, Coonan. So you got 1 and 1, or you got 5, 1, 1. And then Kitchen Hymus. You see, you had Hymus second. He was 2013.
Yeah, well, I thought we were going to see some of Hymus from last year. I was like, all right, this will be like this should be a good round for him, 1-1, good vibes. But I was clearly wrong on that one.
Yeah. So okay, you want to go first, second? What do you want?
Either or. You got the.
I'm gonna go with 450s, and I'm gonna say Jet Lawrence. Of course, he's going to win. His brother's gonna get second. And you're going to see Jorge Prado on this track get third because it's kind of European-y and it's not quite the dog days of summer yet. So I think you're going to see Prado get in there and get third.
It's a good pick. It's a solid pick. I'm not going against Jet this time. Until someone beats Jet, I'm going to have to put him first because, his win rate and his stats are pretty ridiculous at this point. So I'm going to put Jet first. I'm going to put Hunter in second, just like you, but I got to put the Deegs in third, put him back on the podium. He could even get a second in one moto, who knows? But I think he's just seeing red after Thunder Valley, and he wants to put it to those boys again. And he'll be right there when the track's soft and when there's good traction. I think once it gets a little bit more hard pack, and again, just like this previous round, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him, but he's going to be in the mix.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and yeah. He probably could. The only reason I went with Prado is because this is a little more technical off Cambury. Sure. Remember, Masterpool beat Deegan there that one year. That's the only reason I didn't put him on the podium.
Deegan caught, remember how far back Deegan was? He was on a mission.
Yes.
It's flying.
250s. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, I'm putting Joe. It's Joe time. I'm putting Joe for on the board again for another win. And then second, I'm gonna take Seth because isn't he from Pennsylvania?
He is, and that's why I was gonna pick him to win.
yeah. So I'm putting him second. I just think he's still a little bit inconsistent. So we'll see maybe one win on the board and then another mistake. Hopefully not another pileup, but I got him second. And then for third, I can't go against Levi, just another podium because Levi has the speed. It's just his consistency. I don't know what to expect out of him. So I'll put him third this time around.
Yeah, I want to put Hymus in there because I think he should be, but he's not. I mean, after those results, I'm definitely going with Seth Hammaker is going to win. I'm trying to see. I'm going to go with Joe Shimoda second, and I want to. Well, okay, I should write these down earlier because then I get confused myself here. So
yeah,
Seth Hammaker is going to win.
The pressure of the red plate is
Cole
real.
Davies is going to get second. I'm going to go Davies second, Kitchen third.
So, wait. You got Hammaker, Davies, Kitchen?
Hammaker, Davies, Kitchen.
No Joe. Wow. After a win like that. Doing Joe dirty there.
I am, but it's just so up and down. He's going to get fourth, but he'll only lose like 3 points because they're going to be all over the map. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll get my red plate back.
I should have thought about that a little more. I might have looked. Yeah, but dude, Davies. He could easily go 1-7 and get third overall.
Yeah.
But I just think he looked frustrated after those last 2 weeks, and he just looks like he wants more. And I just think he will. I don't know. And it's a little more technical track, so I think I'm counting on that because he did good at Hangtown. I'm thinking maybe.
But Hangtown was like hard pack and a lot of kickers.
You're right.
It was so different. Like High Point is all big hills. It's slimy, deep ruts. Like I said, I raced there, and it's a gnarly track.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going with that. That's the red plate.
Yeah, it's good you didn't pick Hymus though, because I think he's going to be taking it easy here too after that injury. That's just like that trauma in his mind. Probably like, I don't want that to happen again or anything to happen here.
Yeah, when you go back to somewhere that you've had that, it's just a bad
Bad vibes.
feeling.
Yeah.
It's just not good. Let's see. Anything else, or should we get to your song?
I don't know. Anything else that you want to mention?
Nothing. I got all my stuff off my chest, and how is you said this song's killing it?
Yeah,
I want to remind people, if you can, go over to Hammer Moto, subscribe to his channel and the Spotify link in the description, and follow his Spotify and help Matt with his song. I'm telling you, it's just good music, man. I just really like it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm surprised you like that genre. It's definitely a different type of genre. You know, it's alternative, it's emo, it's hip hop, so it's a different type of vibe. But I'm glad that you resonate with it for sure. If you haven't already, like I said, help me out. I just started the new Hammer Moto training channel. So basically over there, we're doing breakdowns, helping riders improve and everything else. So yeah, definitely check that out.
And
but yeah,
what a win for the American Justin Gagey. Holy crap. Now that we're done with the moto stuff, we got just a second on the like UFC. He's a huge underdog, goes in there and beats the bricks off one of the all-time, like they're talking all-time for Ilia Topuria. The way this dude boxes, wrestles, I mean, he's good everywhere. And Justin Gagey just outgritted him. That was gnarly.
I mean, he said he was going to rearrange his face, and
he did
at the end when you saw those pictures. I couldn't believe he won. And in the first round, I was like, man, it's not looking too good. Like the way that he was getting hit and taking those shots, Gaethje, I was like, it wasn't looking too pretty. But he has that stamina and that endurance. He's very durable. It's like misleading.
Yes, those body shots like that Topuria hit him with. I think if Topuria would have threw a couple more of those, he might have got him out of there. But then he went to the ground and tried grappling him, and it gave Justin a chance to relax. So.
He had to recover. Yeah. He definitely should have keep doing those flurries, all those body shots, everything else to try to get him down. But hey, that's what makes it exciting to see an underdog win. And hats off to Gaethje. I mean, he's been in it a long time. I didn't expect him to win, so it's definitely really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to throw some of these up here real quick. I want to thank you guys. Everyone in the chat there. Brian, Sign of Integrity, 9977, Mute, J Bones. We see your comments in here while we're going. We're just trying to stay on topic and keep it somewhat entertaining. My post races, I get way too sidetracked reading people's comments, but don't think we don't see it and don't appreciate it. So thank you guys. And here is Matt's song.
I want to mention. I want to mention one more thing too. Someone mentioned where's the gospel? So like, I still do all my ministry work. I still preach. I have everything on my my Instagram channel, and then I'm also working on a YouTube channel there. But I'm balancing a lot of different accounts, so I'm still doing everything. I never stopped. I'm always a Christian, always a believer, love the Lord. So that never changes. Just to make that clear. But anyway, it's very important for me to hit every facet, right, with the music, and then also with the motocross, because I want to reach people where they at. I want to reach the lost, and the music's like therapy for me. So anyway, again, appreciate everyone being here, watching the show, supporting. It's a lot of fun. And if you haven't already, subscribe, support Chris, support the new channel that I'm dropping. And it's a blessing again.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Here we go. Feel the pain. Feel my pain.
Holy Ghost boys.
I've been running down this street. It's been so hard to breathe. I've been feeling all this weight. It's been stuck in my brain. I've been drowning for so long. My skin's numb, can't hold on. Turn so blue, my hope feels gone. Can you feel my pain? I am bleeding out. Will you watch me drain? My eyes are closing. Can you feel my pain? I can't feel my pain. I feel the flames, they stay the same. I might go insane. Everything feel like a race and nobody's safe. I'm hoping I don't get erased. They watching me bleed and look at my face. I'm wicked, it written right off of the page. I feel like I might get lost, running in circles. I'm searching for something bigger than what I can see in the mirror, but I don't see nothing but pain and the fear.
I've been drowning for so long, my skin's